Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel here at the very first Northeast Van Life Meetup. And I met up with DJ, and DJ has a really cool skoolie. She's in the middle of converting, but she's still living in it. So she's gonna tell us a little bit about what she's done, what her plans are, and how she uses it.
Hi everybody. So this is my short bus, and one of the reasons why I went with a short bus is like movability and definitely parking, because I go around to so many different places like cities, beaches, where I can't necessarily have a gigantic long school bus. But this actually fits inside of a regular parking spot with just like a little bit of butt extra, and it's perfect. So let's go inside. Okay, I can actually turn the lights on, if that's a little better. Okay, so where he's standing right now is actually where I'm going to have a door. So I built out the two walls there so that it can actually be a little bit for safety and a little bit for kind of like thermal protection. Even though there's windows everywhere, the cab always gets the hottest and the coldest for whatever reason. And this is my kitchen that isn't yet done, but it's actually pretty far along. This is my oven slash air fryer slash many different things. And I do various amounts of things, and I travel and do so many different things where I needed all of my stuff together with me all the time. But I'm minimalist enough where it wasn't enough to like hold me down. So I was able to accommodate. But then I just have like these little cubbies for anything small, and I kept the cabinet doors for anything that was bigger. This will most likely be like some food and stuff for my kitchen, or just like kitchen necessities, but right now it's just for basic storage so things don't fly everywhere. Okay, so now I actually have this piece of butcher block, which is gonna go inside of my deep sink. Had to go with the deep sink so water didn't splash everywhere while I was doing dishes. And right here is gonna be where my little faucet goes. And of course I have the hose that goes down. Oh, and over here, this is my water heater that I'm going to have set up for my shower. That's over here. Shower's not yet set up. And this is just my faucet, a couple miscellaneous things, but of course having to do with this little section. And you can see how deep my sink is, which I can't wait to use. I'm very excited. And my retro fridge right here, me personally, it had to be a double kind of like fridge and refrigerator or freezer, because if you open it, a lot of the chest freezers, they're combined, which is great. They work great. But for me, if I don't need the freezer, I'm not going to open the freezer. It's just going to affect it more and kind of use more energy. But of course I had to go retro because my last name is Rustic as well. So it fit way too well. Okay, and venturing over here. So this is going to be where my shower is. And this is my, I think, Nature Heads compost toilet. I didn't get to hook it up yet, but it's pretty cool. And eventually I'm going to put a fan that attaches to it. So I can't wait for that. And I actually have this the plastic bottom for the shower already too. So I can't wait for that. And I also have the Nautilus retractable door so that no mold or anything will accumulate over the time of using the shower, which is very important. You don't want mold anywhere. Okay. Next onto my build is my ceiling. Everyone absolutely loves my ceiling, and I had to go retro with that too because I grew up with my grandmother. So I stained this whole thing, I polyurethaned it, waterproofed, did all the things to make it a cute little child, and customize it. You know how buses go. They're like the weirdest thing when you're trying to just build around them. So you'll actually see over here that there's a giant space because I didn't line it up correctly. So instead of being like, oh, I'm a little sad about that, I'm actually gonna put moss and crystals inside of it, and it's gonna look like I'm in a crystal cove. So just more things of using happy mistakes and just going along with it, because if you're too hard on yourself, it'll just be stressful. Now moving on to my floor. As above, so below. We went with like a cute little woody color. This is the type of tile that you snap into place. My first van, I had that vinyl just roll out. Me personally, I love this. It's great. It's extremely expensive. And honestly, I probably would have went with the vinyl again, but it was cool for the first build. Except this does separate. If you can actually see here, I will point out one of the little faults. That wasn't there when I necessarily put my chairs in. But things shift, you know, it happens. But I'm not that mad about it. Now, one of my favorite pieces is this cabinet that I actually got from Habitat for Humanity. So, it's gonna show you my little drawers. And I'm just like really obsessed with refabbing stuff and reusing and anything like that. And definitely because it has a history behind it too, and the energy and all that. So the fact that I was able to reuse this entire piece of furniture and I didn't even have to build it myself, like, I love that so much for so many reasons. So over here, we have this cute little coffee and tea setup that I got going. So, went to Italy, you know, I loved how everyone did their little coffee and tea art. So I figured I need a little spot to sit down. Because when you're in bed, I had a van for a year and a half. And it was a Chevy G30 cargo van. And you couldn't stand up in it at all. Like, the amount of difference that it makes to be able to stand up, but then also have a spot to sit down, it makes a very big difference, surprisingly. And I'm really happy, like, that's also why I went with the bus, too. Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, and I made this so that it's, like, easily accessible, and eventually I'm gonna have my laundry in here so I could just throw it, and it'll all be confined in that one area. So this right here is going to just be my whole, like, artist setup. If I can get it combined to this little area, that would be awesome. But yeah, just like some basic stuff here. Put this little support here probably a couple weeks ago because it ended up that it was like sagging a little bit. Little modifications, not big deals, you know. And then I got my little merch here from all my little important things. And of course my zoo, my little protection zoo. And being a part of a bus, one of the great things is having this hatch here, and then I also added this fan. So it's a little off-center because of the way that the bus is framed. I honestly didn't mind because my head is going to be at this side anyway, and eventually I'll get a cross breeze. There's enough windows where I could figure it out. So the position of it didn't really matter that much. But this hatch is pretty cool if I want like some sun or put a towel on the floor and get some rain. Over there, I just have like some more cubby stuff for my plumbing, you know. And I'm just gonna trim everything to be like that yellow, and this is my bed. I will cut it to size a little bit. Honestly, probably not too much, but just enough where I can open the latch for the door on the outside, because I cannot do that right now. It's a little in the way. So talking about solar and all that kind of techie stuff. So solar, I have over 600 watts of power on my ceiling. I have a 3,000 watt inverter. Wanted to make sure I was covered and not overpower the system. And I have, as of right now, 2 lithium ion batteries. I'm probably gonna go up to 4 or 6 in all, just to see how much power I really need. And I don't wanna ever stress out my system too much. And I will be having a water heater for my kitchen and for my shower. I feel like it's a very small thing to kind of think about, but it actually is going to be a little important in the long run, specifically because I'm opening my shower when I go to festivals to people who, you know, just need that little refresh. So I want to make sure I can accommodate for everybody too, and not just myself. Now for the shower, I actually do have a separate gray water tank, as well as I'm doing with the sink. Both of those are going to separate gray waters, and they're both going to be connected to around a 25-gallon fresh water tank. Now I'm going to take you guys around back so we can go see my garage. Let's go! Venturing. So this side door, fully functioning. I just have a couple things over there right now, as you'll see. But this is my whole garage. Everything here, if you want to peep your head in, that's all my solar. You'll see my freshwater tank back there. I could break down what all this stuff is, but I don't need to do that. This, I am so happy that I got. The amount of things that I just move in and out of my garage. This is 300 pounds. It would destroy my floor, especially because it's not the vinyl. So I continued the floor, but I kept this and I put this over it, which I'm very, very happy about. And then you'll actually see, so I didn't open for you guys my little bed compartments, but you'll see wherever there's solid wood, that's a whole compartment for me to put clothes in from the top. So I made sure that I could utilize as much space as I could and was trying to be mindful about all of that. The way I use my bus is I do everything very spontaneously. I'm pretty much a minimalist because this is everything that I own, but I go to festivals, I do tattoos, I go to every type of event. So for me to just like have someone that randomly wants to do a tattoo or wants me to bleach dye their clothes, I have everything that I need whenever I need it. So it really worked out for me and I'm really happy that I went with this decision. And I was actually originally going to go for the Ford Transit 350, high roof, extended, all the bougie stuff, because of course you have to. But I found out that there was a national-wide shortage. So the only thing that I could do was finance it. And number one, I wasn't in the position to do that. And number two, I just don't like doing that. I'm a very like person-to-person salesperson. So the fact that this bus, like someone was selling it on Facebook Marketplace and it just like all aligned. And I feel like at heart, I'm more of a skoolie person, ironically. So I'm really happy that it worked out, even though I might have been a little like on the fence in the beginning, but I think it definitely warmed up to me. So realistically, everyone wants to know like how is parking and how is just going places. We use an app called iOverlander and cross-reference that with like a couple other things and locations on where we see fit, and if we're sketched out, we just don't go there. But as far as New Jersey, I don't necessarily have too much of a crazy problem, just necessarily with having the bus yellow, because it's still in that like, you know, workers yellow. So kind of just like having it painted and then like I just had to register it to myself. But in terms of parking, if I kind of like say hi to the neighbors or like let them know my intentions or just give them like a little upbeat of what's going on, then I have a good interaction the majority of the time. So it's not too bad.
Well, DJ, thank you very much for sharing your build,
of course,
your experiences, and what plans are for the inside. And thanks for coming to the very first Northeast Van Life Meetup here in Allaire State Park, New Jersey. Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. We'll see you soon.
Bye.